Hey, you. Yes, you with the moist grass on your bare legs. This is a new year and a new podcast. I'm asking you to join me in some changes made just for you. I want listeners to join the new Facebook group for Aussie Lawn Stars so you can give me feedback on existing episodes and content ideas for more episodes. But more importantly, it's a place you can ask questions. The simple questions may get answered by members in the group already, much like you would find in any community group. But the questions will fuel and feed future episodes. More importantly, if you ask a question in the group or on the YouTube comments section, you may get sucked into the dungeon where your question and you become a feature episode. In short, join Aussie Lawn Stars on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram to participate and engage with me directly and other listeners who want to help or be helped. Welcome to the dungeon, BJ. Back again, mate.
Back again, mate. It's been too long. What's been happening?
What's been happening? I took a little bit of time off over Christmas and I've been working hard. New South Wales is feeling like Queensland at the moment. So we're getting 30 plus degree days and high humidity. So the grass is growing so fast that my robot mower can't even keep up.
Really? Yeah, well, yep. I mean, I'm only just starting to implement robots in one of our villages. So hopefully I don't get gutted and it can keep up, or my whole proposal is out the window.
Well, my suggestion's always been underwork them, make it so that they can well and truly keep up. So if you've got a robot that says it can do 3,000 square meters, get it doing 1,500 to 2,000 square meters. Or if it's working on tricky areas, then make it less again. So you're getting the most out of it.
Yeah.
But I've got several of them operating, and the one that's really struggling to keep up at the moment, I've had it cutting as low a cut height as possible because it just comes up absolutely smick, looks like a bowling green when I have it cut at the lowest height. But at the moment, one day to the next, the growth is that much that it just looks like a spider web across the lawn from where it's been going.
I've been trying to get our neighbour. He's got it's maybe about 600 square meters of just beautiful buffalo. And I'm like, you have to get a robot mower on that. You won't.
Yeah.
You won't believe it. Yeah. But he's a little bit tight. So yeah. No, he's a good bloke. So hopefully I can convince him just to get one of the smaller units on there. I know Segway's got a few new models out that are a bit more affordable, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I reckon there's a good sales pitch for any of them. If they're tight, then you just go, right, once you've got this, you're not going to have to put money into it again. It's going to be, it's going to last you for several years before you need to think about it. All you got to do is buy blades.
Well, he poked his head over the fence yesterday and he was like, I think it's about time that I got into a battery snip because I only do my play. So I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, what do you want? What tools do you run? So he runs Ryobi and I'm like, well, I mean, you deserve better than that.
Yep.
What else has been happening in Gaz's world?
What else has been happening? Been motorbike riding. I actually did a demo ride on a friend's bike last weekend. So looking at getting out of the sport bikes and into an adventure bike because I'm getting old. The neck hurts.
You don't want a cruiser?
Hell no.
Really?
I've had a cruiser before, and it's not my thing.
Yeah, so. It's definitely my thing. Big man spread, just catching the wind in my beard.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think it would suit you pretty well. I found with the cruiser, I probably looked a little bit skanky on it, but just
maybe it'd look better behind me.
But the thing I didn't like is you could do 60 to 80 k's an hour quite comfortably, but once you get up to highway speeds or you're trying to hook into the corners, it's not the right bike.
Yeah, no, you don't want to lay one of those down.
No. Very, very easy to scrub the pegs on the corners.
What about work? You're still kicking goals? So obviously if the grass is growing, you should be smashing a lot of work out.
Yeah, it is flat out at the moment, so it's just plugging away and been buying a couple of new whips at the moment, but other than that, nothing particularly special. Yeah.
Are you trying a few different brands, or are you sticking with the? Was it
Well,
Husky that was your choice, or?
so this is an interesting one because I reached out to a lot of the brands and I said, hey, I'm going to replace a whip. You got to do something better than a Husky 520. And I said, weight is important. I've got a girl working for me and she wants lightweight. I want lightweight and good run time.
Yeah,
And most of the brands are like, oh, we can get you a good whip, but it won't be lighter than the Husky and it won't be better runtime.
yeah, 100%. The
So
Husky is super light, but is that the five? Like, is that a petrol that you're talking about,
no,
or a
so
battery?
that's battery. That's battery.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
know the
yeah,
525 is a good machine. It's very highly regarded in the industry, but runtime is a big issue for us, just in regards to village life. You know,
yeah,
you really you want something that you're getting sort of 55 ish minutes out of, and the Husky
yep.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't coming close to that. So,
If
but
you go to the 520, it's so you're talking about the 525. If you go down to the 520, it's a little bit less power, which a lot of people go, "No, I need the power." But if you can handle the less power, it's great for doing your finished edges, and you can easily get hour and a half to 2 hours. They claim that 2.5 hours runtime on that.
really,
But the interesting thing is, and you should look at this being village life, because what I do, I bought a Polaris buggy. So you know the little side by side buggies.
yeah,
And shout out to Gary at Greenworks. I'm pestering him to get me a Greenworks one. But the Polaris buggy I bought had lead acid batteries in it. So 8 12-volt lead acid batteries configured to run 48-volt system. 3 years, 550 to 600 hours, and those lead acid batteries are cooked. So now what I'm looking at doing is putting some lithium batteries in there and an inverter so I can charge my batteries for my whip snipper and blower all on the go.
damn. So you use that at your sites?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so
That's
we,
pretty
we
cool.
run around with the whip, the hedge trimmer, the blower, a rake and a mulch fork and whatever we need in the back of the buggy and just go to town on it.
Cool. It's been hard to get together this week, mate. I've been dodging
It
you.
sure has. You've
um,
been cooking both ends.
yeah, mate. Not intentionally. Yeah, we've just been flat out. I it's weird. Last year I pulled back off the tools a little bit, and then just slowly just kept on picking up more work and work that you can't really turn down when you're someone like me who absolutely loves mowing. And like in the peak, I think around about 120 acres a week I was doing by myself. And the other boys were taking
Yeah,
care of the villages, and yeah, it's mayhem. It doesn't work when you're running a lot of people. So not even a lot of
yeah,
people. Like I got five people, including Lou. So yeah,
yep.
everybody always wants to talk to you, so you got to pull up, and yeah, I've got to decide what I'm doing.
When you got 5 people on the tools, you need somebody just managing everyone. So doing all the
Yeah.
quotes and HR and all that stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Lou takes care of all the HR, which is really good. My wife, she's awesome
Yeah,
at all that. Some of our villages require like a CM3 certification. That's just gone through.
yep,
But we never do things in halves. So we ended up, we went company on the 1st of January, and that's like flipped everything on its head. So, because we
yeah,
work with so many body corps, they need confirmation of bank account changes, and some of them were telling us that our contracts were void because we changed ABNs, and that's not the case at all. We made sure of that before we started the adventure. But yeah, it's been a while, a couple of weeks, well, a couple of months, I should say.
yeah,
Went to the US, did the Equip Expo. Um,
yep.
yeah, ever since last year's Lawn and Land Equip Expo, it's just been balls to the wall.
Been
It's been
non-stop.
pretty crazy. Yeah, it's been good though. Like obviously it's not great when it starts to impact home life, but
Yeah,
realistically, like I love what I'm doing. Like the jobs that I've got now are the jobs I wish I could have had, 4 or 5 years ago when I wasn't, I didn't have the expo and stuff to do, and I'm doing
Yeah.
football fields and parks and just really nice stuff. And yeah, everyone seems to be happy with my work. So we've just been offered another contract, which, I think I was talking to Ben earlier in the week, and I was saying I think I need to reassess and potentially get rid of some of my work. And then an opportunity for this massive contract comes up. And I was like, oh, man. And I think we were talking about it as well earlier in the week
Yeah.
when you first tried to get me on. And
Yep.
now I'm hiring more staff and buying vehicles and
That's the way. Yep. That's what
glutton
you
for
got to
punishment.
do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the money's on the table, so you know you got to take it while it's there.
Well, grow the business. Work on being on the books instead of on the tools a bit.
Well, that's
And
that's the plan. I've spoken to my 2IC. He's been solid for me. Yeah, very solid dude, and
yeah,
Will's come back from snapping his leg in half, so he
that's good.
he snapped his tibia and his fibia playing
Ouch.
union. So he had a 3 month period where he couldn't work at all. Obviously, he was
Yep.
recovering, and then now he's back full time.
So you
There's
put
been
the screws on him, telling him no more footy.
no, he's straight. He wants to get back to it. So
Yeah, I bet.
he's only working 4 days a week now with a break on a Wednesday. But
Yeah,
it's going all right. So hopefully he can come back full time eventually, and we
yeah,
can just keep on moving forward. But now I've got the Expo. We're firing on the Expo again. I'm heading down to Melbourne next weekend. So
yeah.
hopefully catch
Nice.
up with the Skag crew. I might catch up with Baz if he's available, and anyone else
Yeah,
that's down there in Melbourne. I'll just put out the call. Maybe
yeah.
I can speak to Uncle Greenworks, Gary, and yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
I'm looking at doing a trip down to Melbourne soon too, but unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it down for the show when you got it. So
come on, Gary. I reckon you'll be able to make it. You'll get
I'd
FOMO.
want to.
You'll be like a teenage girl. You'll get FOMO.
Yeah, I want to be there, but I've got so many things on the go this year. I'm just not sure what I'm going to be able to get to. But I organised to go down there in March for the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show, MIFGS.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Well, maybe I can do that too. I can write
yeah,
all that stuff off, I guess.
yeah, for sure. You should come down.
Yeah, I might. When is
Yeah,
it?
it's the end of
March.
March, 26th to the 30th of March.
Might be a bit close to my daughter's birthday. She might not like me.
Yeah, well, it's on from Wednesday through to Sunday, I think it is. So I'm going down earlier in the week, and I'll catch up with a bunch of people. I'm going to go and see Duncan while I'm down there, and
Oh,
a bunch of people I'm going to go and catch up with, and then drop in for the flower and garden show, and then hightail it back home again.
very nice. Oh, that should
So
be nice. I've never actually been to a flower and garden show. And like coming back to the expo, that's kind of why, like now I'm a bit more passionate about building this expo because we really don't
yeah,
have something for people like myself who want to go and jump on equipment and play with things that go vroom, pretty much.
well, I've looked at a bunch of different shows over the years, and one of the earlier ones I went to was Diesel Dirt and Turf, and then I went to an ag show that's in New South Wales, and then looking at the Flower and Garden show, which is predominantly aimed at landscape design, but it'll cover a broad range of things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it should be pretty cool.
it is good to have something like what you're doing dedicated for our industry, and that's why I wanted to get you in tonight so we could share with everyone what's coming up this year.
Yes, so 23rd of August 2025, the Lawn and Land Equip Expo is coming to Melbourne. So we're only having one show this year. Last year was mental. I'm not even going to lie. So we did the 3 shows over 9 weeks. And
Yeah,
it wasn't just us that it wrecked. Some of the brands that we sent out all these feedback forms afterwards, of course, and some of the feedback was 3 shows is too much. There was a couple that were fine with
yeah,
it, but
yep,
3 shows is a lot to drag, 10, 15 machines plus staff and stuff like that. And some of them were good enough to let me know exactly how much it cost to drag
Yeah, I
everything
can
around.
imagine.
Yeah, and it's not
It's
cheap. It's not a cheap exercise. So when you take into account what they actually pay to come
yeah,
and have displays and stuff like that, all the insurances, blah blah blah, it does
yep,
become quite an expensive exercise. Plus, having one show, it lets us basically focus on that one show and hopefully get a few more like unique companies. So if
yeah,
anyone's out there that listens, that's a company that wants to have a display, yeah, reach out. It's lawn and land equip expo.com.au.
yeah,
So yeah, we really enjoyed Caribbean Gardens. So we're going back there again. We're
yeah.
having it outdoors because another bit of a feedback in Melbourne was that it's outdoor power equipment, not indoor power equipment. So
Yep.
we were fortunate to have that indoor space because of the weather, and it was
Yes.
horrible. But yeah, people want to actually jump on machines and feel the machines. So we've got the whole place to ourselves again, which is awesome.
Yep.
And
And
yeah,
hopefully the weather means it's good outdoors too.
yeah. Well, someone posted today on LMCA that there's been no rain in Melbourne. I was like, oh, wait for the 23rd of August. it's it's one of those things. We actually had rain at every event that we had last year. So
Yeah.
is the
Well, I
Brisbane
went
one,
for
I think.
the. I only went to the Sydney one last year, and the weather was reasonable there, but yeah, was still patchy.
There was a few swimming pools around though. We had
Yes.
some absolutely crazy storm the night before, um,
Yeah.
and yeah, myself, Andrew Thomas, Lou was in the car. There was just shit blowing everywhere. We were just hanging on to marquees, just trying not to let anything blow away. But yeah, we got through it. We got to the other side.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
No, it turned out really good on the day.
yeah, but it
It was
it
still a bit
must.
windy though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it's hopefully just one of those days where you rock up, beautiful blue skies, green grass, and we can just use some machines. That's a good thing about Caribbean Gardens is it's like 1,500 acres. Can't believe the
Yeah.
size of it.
Nice.
It's huge. So there's that. Obviously, we won't use all of that, but
Yeah.
something different this year. We're actually putting on like a gala dinner. It'll be a ticketed event, so
Yep.
we're going to have an economist. I've been speaking with some turf specialists. I'm going to try and get some business development managers there to mingle with the crowd and, yeah, just
Yep.
basically have like a drinks and canapé package. And,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just have some food, have some drinks. And I'm definitely getting a room in the hotel that we're going to hold it at so I can just
Yeah.
drag myself up to bed.
That's
But
the
no,
way.
it should be fun because all the after parties that we had were awesome. The Melbourne
Hey,
one
sure.
was the craziest. The crew from South Australia made sure of it. So yeah, can't wait.
Mm.
They're already on board apparently, and they've got some extras coming with them. So I can't wait for that.
Nice. Yeah, no, I've spoken to quite a few people down in South Oz. There's some colourful people down there. It'd be nice.
Yeah, yeah. No, it should be fun. Like we always come back to the same thing. We just want everyone to have fun and maybe walk away with a little
Yeah.
bit of knowledge. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, look, I know most people in the industry will already be aware that there's a massive show over in the US, the Equip Expo, which goes for like 5 days straight or something, I think it is.
I think it's so there's a little bit. So I think it's 3 days, but then I think there's other days afterwards that have like talks and things like that. So yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
it's it's a pretty like eye-opening experience going over there. Their industry is massive. I think it's something like 40,000
Yeah.
people walk through that place. So,
Yeah.
and it legitimately took
But
2 days, and we didn't see all of it. it's a proper 3 day event.
yeah, for sure. So for people coming along to your show, what should they expect to find?
So we're focusing. So we had basically, we had most of the popular mower brands there this year.
Yeah.
We're looking at getting some tractor stuff there this year. Maybe some slashing stuff. Obviously, I know Duncan at International Mowers, and they have a bunch of stuff that they can bring
Yep.
along, and obviously Bush Ranger. Um, they also have a little bit of stuff like they've got that new robotic mower, the RC
Their
mower.
slope mower. Yep.
Yep, trying to get Colebrook Industries. They do RC mowers.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
yeah, I'm literally just sent it to everyone. We're trying to get Coyote to come down. They also distribute Bad Boy, PFG. So
Yeah.
I'd
Okay.
love to see those. Coyote have some big diesel machines too, like zero turns. I really want to
Okay.
see those.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just anything that I want to see. I've just peppered them. Everyone's copping it today.
So for the average lawn care person or business in Australia, you go to BJ's show, you go to Ellie 2025, and you'll see a range of lawn mowing equipment, including the latest push mowers, battery gear, ride-on mowers. I think you're going to have a bit of representation from software packages, CRMs, that sort of thing again
Yes,
this
yeah.
year.
So we had ServiceMate
Yeah.
last year. We
Yep.
also had Mirror. With Mirror also comes some. It's like a fire ant management service. Um,
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they they weren't there represented last year, but Mirror, it's like a dual business.
Okay.
So they were working with the Australian government to actually try and pull these fire ants. I don't know what are the fire ants situation like down your way?
Look, I thought that I saw fire ants in my area, but no, it turns
Because
out
you're in a port city, like you're in Newcastle, eh? Or just out of Newcastle?
I'm south of Newcastle, so I'm more Lake Macquarie, Central Coast.
Okay.
But but yeah, I haven't seen fire ants in my area. No, I've seen what we get a lot of at the moment that are sort of getting really annoying is the jack jumpers. So they're
Oh, okay.
the ones that when they see you, they jump towards you.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen those, but we have fire ants everywhere.
Yeah,
It's crazy. I think it's going to be really hard to pull it back in. You can report it; they'll come out, and because there's been so much rain up here in Brisbane, they're just carried on debris, so they're just everywhere.
yeah,
You drive down the road and you just see little markers where there's nests that have been poisoned, and then maybe 3 feet away there's another nest. So
wow,
yeah, it's a bit rough at the moment with fire ants, but yeah, the guys from Mirror, Aaron, he was explaining to me like their systems and how they've got such a really good hit rate. So
yeah,
those sort of things interest me. We're going to try to get more turf suppliers and fert suppliers and
yeah,
hand tools. That was a big thing that came through. We had a lot of machinery,
yep,
but we didn't have a lot of hand tools. So we've reached out to like Japanese tools. I've got Will from Mower Merch. Hopefully, he can hook us up with Euro tools. Just some really unique gardening stuff that, I'd love to see. I don't know. Do you have a contact for Felco?
I don't. I think Luke has Felco
Yeah,
contact.
I'll give Luke a ring, or maybe after listening to this, Luke can ring me, and hopefully he's listening.
Yeah,
But so I think Luke Smith might be coming. Not
yep.
100% sure yet. So that'll be pretty cool. Benny's going to make the trek down, Catch Pro Benny.
Awesome.
So
Yep.
I don't know.
Good stuff.
He's going to be busy, but yeah,
So I think that
told him he's going to
the
be.
other thing that would be really good to be represented there is a good trailer manufacturer and probably a range of trucks even, because a lot of small businesses now need to look at trucks instead of utes.
I've noticed a lot of people are moving towards trucks. So I got buyer's remorse for my truck. I love it. Like I love my
Yeah.
truck, but I wish I got the larger one. So that's the only thing I
Yep.
regret. I'm
So
running
it's
out of
not
space.
regretting a truck, it's just the kind of truck.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's been good. Except for the head unit went like 6 months ago, and I took it in to get
Yep.
fixed, and I took it in for like an overnight service, and
Yeah.
I rang twice to make sure that they could do it, and they were just like,
Yep.
"Oh yeah, no, you're gonna have to bring it back during the day." Like, okay. I gave them.
Yeah,
They send a text out for feedback, and I gave them my feedback. So
yes.
yeah, they didn't write back to it though.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get sick of replying to feedback requests like that. It's like, they're not going to reply if I send them a feedback form.
Yeah. If you want honest feedback, then you actually have to walk in and give it to them over the counter. Um,
That's
but no,
it.
it's looking to be a lot bigger than last year with a lot more brands represented. We did have a trailer, not a trailer manufacturer there, but we had a guy doing trailer servicing, and he was giving away a massive discount. So that's what we're going to be aiming for again is heaps of show day specials.
Yep.
We're always going to be like involved with one or two charities. So
Yeah.
over the shows, we've raised nearly $30,000 so far. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Um, yeah, but we've signed our platinum sponsors are Bush Ranger and Ego. One of our gold
Yeah.
sponsors is Skag.
Yep.
Just waiting for Greenworks Gary to take the other one.
You that, Gary? We're waiting for you.
Gary. No. Yeah, I'm actually starting to get excited because you can send out all the initial, prospectus and like because we sent it before Christmas. Everyone's just been so flat out. You don't hear anything, but all the feedback
Yeah.
we got last year was you got to get it in earlier. You got to get it in earlier. And now I
Yeah.
can say to them, I got it in early, and you just haven't gotten back to me. So yeah,
That's it.
I've done my
Yeah.
part.
So, yep. So they need to pull finger.
That's it. Um, yeah. Other than that, man, I've just been so busy. It's crazy just trying to call people.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, like spending 10 hours a day on the hot seat, just smashing out
Yep.
acres of grass doesn't leave a
Yeah.
lot of time for correspondence or podcasting. So the lawn care skull sessions has
Mm.
sort of slowed down a bit to nothing. We still get a few downloads every week, which is pretty cool. Still getting around
Yeah.
anywhere between 250 to 400 downloads a week, which is
Yeah. Wow.
it's pretty reasonable for people who aren't putting out a podcast.
That's
But
it. Yeah.
I spoke to Ben today, and he did say to me that he's almost ready to rock and roll again. So it's just, yeah,
Nice.
for something that doesn't bring any income, it's just one of those things. If it gets busy, we just have to put it on the back burner.
Yeah. Now, in the time you and I have been podcasting, it's roughly the same time we started up. I think it might have been a week difference, but
Yeah,
we've seen a number of brands emerge in Australia and a couple of interesting changes with brands along the way, like Hustler and Stanley Black and Decker changing over in distribution. But I think Plank was one of the early ones when we first started podcasting. They were sort of emerging in the market. And since then, we've had Cress and a bunch of other things come along. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of movement in Australia because we're a smaller market than the US. But over the last 3 years, we've had a fair bit. So is there anything interesting coming along that you'll see at your show this year in terms of new brands or anything different?
new brands, new brands. I don't know so much about. Like it's normally new products. We have a lot of brands here in Australia. I don't know how much more the market can really take, especially with so much push from the likes of Makita and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They're so into the market now. They're always innovating and like
Yep.
they take feedback and things like that. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I haven't heard of any new brands. I did have a cool couple of conversations when I was in the US. There are a few brands looking for opportunities to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I had a conversation with Yakta. Um,
Yeah.
they gave me all their their information, and we've sent them a prospectus, but I don't think they're just going to fill a container up and bring it over. They need distributors and
No.
all that sort of thing.
Yep.
So I'm guessing there would be conversations, because there were a few new mower brands. Mohawk was another one that popped up at the show, and it looked like a pretty credible looking machine. But yeah, I would love to see some different products, say like someone making like a ramp rack, an Australian version of a ramp rack or something like that.
Yeah.
Martin Safidi from Mow and Grow, like he's got something similar, but someone needs to be mass producing these things to bring the cost down a bit, so it's not a custom item every time.
That's it.
But that's the thing. Is our market big enough to warrant that? We literally, there's more people walk through the Expo in the US than we actually have mowing contractors in Australia. So
yeah, look, I think the market is there for those sorts of products. I guess if we put if we put a product like that out there for Australia, you compare it to, say, the trailer manufacturer that might work with gyms to build gyms trailers, and you're okay, would they consider adding a new product like that to their lineup, knowing that the market is fairly well cornered? They should get a fair few sales.
Yeah. Also,
a lot of people have been looking for it.
It's I've never really looked into the back end of that, because I have looked at it. I do have friends that are fabricators, and they're like, asking me, because I took heaps of video around the ramp rack and how it's hitched and everything, and they're like, don't know how to go in Australia, but obviously Martin's works really well, so I'd love to get hands on it, that's for sure, and actually see how it's all bolted. But
well, I guess what you're saying there is interesting, because you're talking with fabricators about how these things go together. I've built my own trailer from scratch, and I know full well if you look at doing that at the moment, yes, you can build a trailer from scratch as a independent person, take it down for a blue slip, they check it over to make sure it's all kosher and sign it off, and you got a registered trailer. But if you're talking a one-off person building their own trailer from scratch, it's not going to get scrutinized as much as a trailer builder that's pumping out thousands of trailers. So when you start talking about the difference between doing a one-off like Martin's got and then punching out 1,000 units of the same thing, you need to start thinking about design laws and vehicle accident impact, that sort of stuff. And how's it going to impact if somebody runs into the back of your ute compared to a regular tray back?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of red tape on everything these days, so you can't just bang something together. Although I kind of like the idea of not being behind one of those if it ever just falls off.
Yeah, that's it.
I did have an incident the other day. I didn't put my my Bush Ranger L261 Bippy, didn't put it onto my racks properly, and I took a corner. And it flew off at 100 miles an hour. And, I turned around, came back, saw a bloke strapping it in the back of his ute. I couldn't pull over where I could, yell at him. But I, beeped the horn. As soon as I beeped the horn, he was back in his ute. I turned around where I could, came back. I was 3 cars behind him. And he got me at a red light. So he was gone. So almost brand new Bipper Dipper down the drain.
That sucks. And, he probably thought it was just, his lucky day getting a freebie until he heard you honking the horn.
He definitely went, because it had a whipper gripper on it too, and that wasn't very old either.
Yeah.
So,
Facebook Marketplace.
That was a sad moment, but, it was my fault.
Yeah. Efficiency is the thing that rules a business and the decisions you make as a small business owner. Right Mowers give you the options in their product lineup to match efficiency with size, fuel usage, and the type of jobs you want to target, from catching to mulching or side discharge, from roadside verges to acreages and manicured lawns to 6 feet tall and super long. I've been using the Right Stander I 42-inch with a Catch Pro for manicured areas and the Stander ZK61 to maximise productivity for large open acreage mowing. If you need to replace your push mower, try the 32-inch Stander B. If you have more open access to residential properties, there's a 42 through 48-inch option that suits you. And if you want to enter the acreage market, the 52, 61 and 72-inch machines have choices in engine size and model type to suit the work you want it to do. Right Standards go the distance, saving you time and money, season after season. It'd be interesting to see whether some of the manufacturers, fabricators will actually pick up products like that, because there's really good options around in terms, not just the ramp rack to go on the back of a ute, or even for a truck like yours would be worth looking at. But then you look at things like the Mulchmate, which in the US, the Mulchmate, the company owner has gone to so extraordinary lengths to make that product really well and built a massive company around it.
Yeah, it's when you actually get to see it in person, the that stand that was at the Equip Expo was massive. They had the truck set up with the it's got like a divider in the back of a truck, and you can actually shoot mulch both ways, so you can fill two wheelbarrows. It's like a conveyor belt. So you
Nice.
just tip the back, and yeah, no, it was awesome. Like, that is a very solid product, and it was very
Yeah.
popular. They have good marketing around it, and yeah, I think it's a pretty solid product. Another one, it was weird. There was some weird products there. We had a good walk around, and there's like buckets and stuff. It's like a square bucket, and there was so much hype about it. It was just like I use a black 20 litre garbage bin or whatever they are, or 40 or 60 litre garbage bin for like
Yeah.
weeding and stuff like that. They're using these big orange fluoro buckets, and they're squares. I can't remember the
Yeah.
name of it, but yeah, everyone was hyped about it. There was the social media about it was blowing up. But
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, I'm hoping with our show that it being having show day specials, because at the three shows there was like well over $250,000 worth of stuff sold, like so many
Wow.
machines. Yeah, it was actually, like, I didn't think that was going to happen, but
Yeah.
it did. But this year's a bit different. Speaking to so many distributors, and like, obviously I talk to Ben a lot, and he talks to distributors, and there's just
Yeah.
a feeling of uncertainty in the industry. I think it's not just our industry. I think it's across Australia. Just
Yeah.
with, obviously, interest rates are not moving, and cost of living's
Yeah.
going through the roof. So nobody really wants to commit to these massive purchases unless they can
Yeah.
really justify them. And I 100% agree. I'm the same. Just even with these new contracts knocking at the door, I'm
Yeah.
still like just going to wait till last minute to pull the trigger on anything large. So
Yeah. Fair. That's fair. I mean, it doesn't make sense to get too trigger happy and purchase equipment and then not get the contract.
no, exactly. Yeah, or it not being what it's made out to be. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that it gets a bit hyped. Notice things are a little bit flat, but from what I hear, there's still a lot of machines being sold. So
Yeah. That's what I'm hearing as well. They're certainly selling well. So I
I
think
mean, Brizzy
we're,
or Queensland
we're in
as a
the
whole would be a hotspot at the moment.
yes. Well, we're in the middle of a mad season at the moment. So you guys around southeast Queensland and down into Sydney here, it is a very hot season.
Yeah,
So the grass is growing flat out. We started out dry. It was even in December, it was still dry. But the moment that clock ticked over midnight on New Year's Eve, it's like all of a sudden we were in wet, sticky, humid Queensland
yeah,
weather.
yeah. Well, like I said earlier, like I felt like I got off the plane from the US, walked outside, and I was just like, "Holy shit, we're back into it already!" And a couple of days
Yep.
later, like, I was just doing 10-hour days every day. So
Yeah.
it could be worse though. It could be a drought or something like that. I know Melbourne's really dry at the moment. I saw Joel posted something, Joel Pay, and yeah, it's dry. I was speaking to Scotty as well from
Yeah.
Ulladulla. He said that
Yep.
you guys had he had some rain
Yeah,
last
we've been
week.
getting a bit.
Yeah, he said like 90 mils and then 20 mils or something. So
Yeah.
hopefully everyone up north is staying safe because the amount of rain they're getting, like they thought that the water was subsiding, and then I saw that they got another rain band come through this morning and filled it back up again. So it's pretty hectic up there. I know it's monsoon season, but yeah,
Yep.
how much is too much?
Yeah, that's it. It'll, like you say, it's keeping people buying machines, and so the mowers are going out the door, the whip snippers are going out the door.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a brand new whip out in the garage now. I've got to chuck a whipper gripper on it. I've got another.
Yeah.
My guys are addicted to the Bushy L261s. That's all I buy now. I'm actually retiring a
Yeah.
Husqvarna. Yeah, they won't use a Husqvarna. They'd rather use the Bushranger M262 with a combi instead of using the Husqvarna dedicated. So I just bit
Yeah.
the bullet and got another one. Also got a new 82 volt hedger from the Bushranger line, new one that we saw at the RGS unveiling. So yeah, they have a good feel. I like them. They're really good.
Yeah, that's good to know. So so you're running petrol whips, but battery hedges, battery blowers.
So obviously I've got a few different jobs. At one of my villages, it's 100% battery except for mowers. So that's
Okay.
where we use all bushranger whips, hedges, and stuff like that. Then my guys, like, throwing around a petrol hedger these days is, you know, you don't really need to be doing
No
that.
way.
We do have one
Yeah.
for when we do like bamboo and stuff like that, just
Yeah,
because,
fair enough.
yeah, we just want to hack through it and walk
Yep.
away. We don't really care about bamboo. It can all
Yep.
burn in hell, to be honest. But yeah, we run a few different setups. So yeah, one village, I've got two guys there, and they are permanently using battery except for mowers. And then my
Yep.
other guys, they use bushranger whippies and
Yep.
they're petrol and then battery
Yeah.
hedges. They also have
Yeah.
a battery blower, but they have backpack blowers as well. So they do some of my bigger stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
Now I'm just all
I
petrol.
found that too. Found that with the blowers, I'm 99% of the time using the battery blower, but as soon as it's a bigger job, it's out with the backpack petrol blower.
Yeah, the boys. I actually a couple of weeks ago got the 82 volt from Bushranger. So I've taken that to one of my villages because it's like more heavy duty than using like hand blowers. So yeah, it's a bit more comfortable when you're walking, doing courtyards. When you've done a few, it's so
Yeah.
much better.
Yep.
But yeah, no,
Fair enough.
it's all really good tools. Like we're really happy with all of it. Hopefully they bring out just a heap more range. Maybe some
Yes.
dedicated bipper dippers. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see. Hopefully they're in the pipeline. Multi
Yeah. Fingers
tools.
crossed.
Yeah, I just want more.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Bushranger brings down to your show.
Yes, well, hopefully they'll have a huge stand there. I know Ego, Green, like everyone just goes hard out. So I'm so appreciative of everyone that does like go really hard out. And hopefully because there's one show, again, like this is kind of why we're having one show, they can focus in on it as well.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I just think it's just going to make a difference because stretching everyone over three, you could tell by Sydney, there was a few people that were trying to pack up early, and I was like,
Yep.
oh no, you can't. No, but it's good.
Yeah.
We gave away a ton of stuff last year, so
Yes.
hopefully we can do the same this year.
Yep.
There's some things that I want to tell you, but I'm not allowed to tell you yet. I just need them all the ducks in a
So
row, especially for the gala night, because we do want to do some sort of award. But I don't know. I'm not sure where to actually, um, do the polls and stuff, and what awards to do. Like, I want to do like, I don't know, business of the year. Maybe I could
yeah.
do something like that. I'd like to do
Yep.
a couple. So I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone's out there. Like, you can PM us at our Instagram page, Lawn and Land Equip Expo, or
Yep.
reach out to me on TBL Property Maintenance, whatever. Just give us some categories. We want a couple of serious ones and maybe a couple of funny ones.
Yeah, that makes sense. So business of the year and somebody who's supporting Ellie or something to that effect.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
Who can set fire to the most mowers in 1 year? Kyle will win that.
yep.
Oh.
Yeah. What else can we come up with?
Yeah, no, there'd be a few out there. Best meme.
I was going to say, there's got to be an award for Leroy.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping he makes the trek down. It'd be good because he came to the Brisbane one and he came in character. And it was awesome. I absolutely loved having him there. So, yeah, hopefully he can come down to the Melbourne one. He deserves a holiday.
Yep, that's it.
But no, guess what? I might actually be able to get Louise onto a podcast with me.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good.
You. She's not going to do a podcast with you, mate, but she might do one with me.
Okay, well, I'll be waiting. I reckon I can get her into the dungeon yet.
Nah, no chance. No chance. She'll want to sit next to me. The only reason she wants to do it is because I'll probably, make promises I can't keep or tell people wrong information.
So
but no, like I always say, like, she's the brains of the operation. I'm literally just the face and the labourer. Like, she does a really good job at keeping everything in check, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I get a little off topic. The old ADHD kicks in now and again, and I'll go this way. I'm supposed to be going this way, and she'll keep me grounded. But no, it's good. It's good we're getting to work together now a bit more. So
I think it's awesome that you're both working together on the show, and obviously she's working behind the scenes on a lot of stuff anyway. But it's great.
That's good. It's a new chapter because our young fella Archie's gone to prep this year, so he's at big school now. So it's a whole new world for us at the moment.
Yeah, it frees up a bit of time during the day when he's at school.
Yeah, well, I mean, not as much as we'd hope because the my daughter's at high school and he's at primary school, and the times clash. So Lou has to go and wait at high school, grab my daughter, and then fly up and grab him. So just to leave a bit earlier than she'd like to. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of time, but 6 hours isn't really that much when you're doing drop off and pick up. Kind of,
if she's trying to run around doing quotes or HR type,
everything I can't do, even to the point where I haven't told her yet, but I'm probably going to put 3 tyres in the back of her car tomorrow, so she can take them to the tyre shop and get them redone.
Just to make sure she's got something to do, right?
Yeah. No, it's good. We work well together.
It's good.
So what's new for you? Like, have you got any new jobs coming up, or are you happy where your business is chilling and then focusing on the podcasting thing? Or
look, I haven't got any new jobs I'm taking on at the moment. I'm very happy with what it's doing.
Are you like maxed out time wise with those jobs?
Yeah, I am. So I have been wondering about whether I should take on more, but when I'm looking into it, I'm like, oh, it does mean I've got to put on more employees so that I'm not maxed out time wise, right? Same thing I've been
Yeah.
talking to you about is got to become more manager rather than more on the tools to do it. That's the only way to grow
Yeah, you send me that, and then I'm like, next day I've got an opportunity that's come through overnight, and you're like, oh, I thought you were going to downsize.
it.
Nah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm constantly thinking about the same sort of things you're thinking about. About do I take on more work? Do I put an extra trailer on the road? But yeah, at the moment, I want to focus on keeping the weekly content going out with the podcast, making sure that
Yeah,
people have got something to listen to. I see that as a ministry. So the more people that get something to listen to on a regular basis, the more people can make sure they're running business rather than just floundering. And that's my goal, is to help people understand what it means to run a business.
100%. Yeah, oh, look, I mean, I'm not the most articulate person. I do have, I feel like I do have the fundamentals. I think that,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of help from Lou with the back, like, man, I don't even know how to use Web Banker. Like I'm illiterate when it comes to like money.
Yeah.
I just know, like, I don't spend money. Like, I don't have any hobbies. Like the lawn and landscaping industry is my hobby. So I know
Yeah.
that sounds pretty sad. I love playing golf, but I love playing with my kids too. So I
Yeah.
prioritize like what I do as a job as like my hobby. So like I'll
Yep.
you know pull apart engines and stuff like that and pretend I know how to put them back together, and then have to take them to the local shop to get them fixed. And
Yep.
I don't know, I'm just constantly thinking about work, and obviously with the expo again, it just brings a new element. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's something I spoke to my wife about. I'm like, should I have a hobby? And she's like, are you happy? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. So I
Yeah. Well,
guess
that's it,
she's
isn't
right.
it? If you're doing things that are fulfilling, and the only thing is, if you're balancing that well, so that you're getting good time with family, good time with work, and good time doing those things that helped you to be fulfilled by having good balance, then can't complain, right?
Yeah, that's it. We were trying, we were thinking about planning a family holiday next year, and
Yeah.
everyone was like Tokyo, and I think I've convinced everyone to go to Western Australia, which I'm pretty
Oh,
happy about because like one of my goals in life is to catch up with Humongous and hang out
yeah,
with him for a bit. So we chat
yeah,
on a regular,
yeah.
and like I respect the dude. He's an awesome guy, and
Yes.
there's heaps of cool cats over there that I'd love to catch up with. And that's another thing with the expo. Um, it's not always going to be in Melbourne. So next year it could be Sydney or Brisbane.
Yep.
One of my customers today actually offered us his space in the valley
Yeah.
for the after party. It's
Nice.
so this place is pumping. It's booked out 240 nights of the year.
Wow.
So it's very, very exclusive. And he said, "Yeah, we'll sort something out." So it's like
Yeah.
I think it's 150 standing room and 120 sitting. So yeah, it's mainly
Yeah.
booked out for
Nice.
weddings and stuff. So I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know how it'll go, but it's a mad offer, and
Yeah. It is. It's
it's a
unreal.
unique space. It's called Smoked
Yeah.
Garage, and
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, very, very unique space. So
I'm guessing
um,
that means they do a lot of smoked meats there, right?
no, no, they
No.
don't. They're actually a mechanic shop. So they do rat bikes. So they'll take your Harley or
Wow.
whatever, strip it,
Yeah.
and it's it's awesome. They do.
Nice.
So I rocked up there today, and they had a couple of bikes on the back, and I'm like, oh god, I don't want to mow any of these things. They're absolutely stunning. So yeah, I didn't really
Yeah.
want to take photos because they were customers' bikes, and you know
Yep.
I don't want to
Fair.
post any photos of other people's bikes. They might not have
Yeah.
seen them yet. They might have been there to do something. So
That's the thing. When you do more high profile jobs, there's less opportunities for you to share photos from them.
yeah, 100%. I got one. It came through the other day, and I went to quote it, and I told them my price, and this lady nearly fucking died. Um, I, I never knock anyone for their prices, but when I went there, there's a two gardeners that are doing it now, and they're
Yeah.
doing a really good job with the time they're given. And I think they're really underselling themselves. They're charging themselves. So they were originally charging themselves out at $75 an hour per person,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
because there was so much work at this property, they actually dropped their rate.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Like, why would they do that? And she said, oh, they just thought because there was so much here, they'd drop it a bit for me. And I was like, well, I mean, they dropped it to 60 plus GST.
Yeah.
And I was like,
insane.
I mean, like if they can make it work, like it is what it is. But they do good work, and I hope that they, come to realise that, up their prices a bit,
Yeah.
because they should value themselves a
Like
bit more.
double at least.
Yeah, 100%. Like they're doing topiary and stuff. They're doing high
Wow.
hedges that you need. Like honestly, they're doing really nice work. And I was
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to ring them and just say, hey, I don't want to take this job from you. You do a good job, but
Yeah.
you need to up your price. Yeah, it's
Yep.
one of those things. I don't. Yeah, I never trip on what people charge unless they are underselling themselves. It's
Yep.
unfortunate, but yeah, it's not, because we are an unregulated industry. Some people think that their business is the pinnacle of the industry and everyone should follow their lead. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like, some people start off and they just work as much as they need to and make as much as they need to, and they think that they're doing good. And yes, someone should be telling them they can do better. And hopefully, it gets
Yeah.
there.
But that's an interesting topic. I've been, over the last 12 months, maybe more than 12 months, I've been looking at what it takes for a business in Australia with just one employee to be able to say that they're doing okay. And when we're in the service industry, so you can change a little bit in different service industries, but across the board, it's going to be fairly close to the same. Even with other trades, it still works out similar, unless they have a lot of overheads in their purchasing product and whatever else. But if you're not breaking $100,000 a year at the moment, then you're not doing real well. And, somebody who's doing $80,000, $90,000 a year, they're probably okay, but they're not thriving.
Yeah. But it depends
So,
on their setup. Like if you've got a whippy, a mower, a couple of bags, little trailer, little ute, your overheads are virtually nothing except for fuel and
yeah,
time. I mean, if you throw a spray pack around now and again, when you break that down, it's not that costly. So, but for someone like me, who's I've got $120,000 on one truck, and then I've got another $70,000 on another truck, and then I've got $50,000 worth of equipment at another site. Like, it becomes a big, and to replace that sort of stuff, I'd love to compare what it, like 5 years ago, what it would cost 5 years ago to set up a business compared to now, because the costs are going up. I haven't seen, so I know, like, obviously with COVID, there was a lot of cost increases.
yeah.
But yeah, just wages, insurances. Has
Yep.
anyone reassessed the price of charging a battery these days?
They need to, right? It's
Because
gone up.
power's jumped 20 something percent, and they reckon
Yeah.
it's going to jump another 20 something percent this year.
Well, when we started podcasting, I would say that if your business was breaking $60,000 a year solo, I'd say you're not going to be thriving, but you're going to survive. Whereas
Yeah,
now, I would say $60,000 a year, you're doing it as a supplemental income, and there's no way you could be doing it and relying on that.
yeah,
Not to say that we couldn't find somebody that's an outlier that is
yeah,
surviving, but nowadays it's like $90,000 instead of $60,000 is where you go. They're not even thriving.
yeah. And
And
part
that's
and
a big
parcel.
difference.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. No, I should say I love the industry because there are so many different people. There's, you know, you got your weekend warriors. You've got your guys who, you know, are in their 60s. They might own their own house. They don't need to make a fortune. They still banging out jobs for, 50, 60 bucks. That is something I'd charge like 100 to 120 for. And they just love doing it because it keeps them active. But yeah, if you really want to get, you know, moving and shaking, it is, yeah, it is a lot harder now. I reckon. Like
Yeah.
the financial gain is equal to the financial input that you have to chuck into your business because staff
Yeah. That's it.
are expensive. Like our cost for staff has gone through the roof, and that's reflected in our
Yep.
price that we charge.
Yeah.
And when you're someone like me who scavenges for long term contracts, like 3 years contracts, like 2 years ago, my staff were costing me maybe, $42, $43 when not with fuel and stuff, but when you just insurances, work cover, all that stuff. And now it's up
Yeah.
around like the 40, 48, 49. So you're up there
Yeah.
before you're even starting to break even.
Yeah. Well, let's say if you put that into an annual amount, so if your staff's working 5 days a week with you, then chances are they're taking home about $70,000 a year.
Yeah, the top tier, the top couple of guys are. Like I said, Will's not on full time now, but yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I want to raise their wages. Like if they're working hard for me,
Yeah.
I always want to put their wages up, or at least give them some
Yep.
incentive, like a quarterly bonus or something like that. But
Yeah.
with the contracts I've got, it's been really hard, and like yeah, it is one of those hard things because I've locked myself into long term contracts. There's a
Yeah.
security there, but
Yep.
there's also the downfall of you can't really go in there and say, hey, cost of living's gone up very steeply this year. Can you just
Yeah.
hook us up with a couple of extra G's?
Yeah, well, this is what I'm working on at the moment is annual price increase, and a lot of people talk about the annual price increase. I've not done that for most of my business, but nowadays I am. I'm just going, okay, the increase in costs mean that I have to.
Yeah, well, at one stage we used to, with one of our big customers, we used to run off the just a CPI increase, and the deal was if we just raised our prices by CPI, which is normally around like 3.5. I think one year it was like 4.5. It was a good quoted job anyway, so it was an extra 50, 60 bucks a week, which
Yeah.
it wasn't much, but it was enough.
Yep.
Now I'm just like, whoa, like it needs to go up like 10%.
Well, coming off the back of COVID, there was 2 years in a row where the CPI indexed properly was around 7 to 8% each year, and then it dropped to 4%. And this year, it's down under 3%. So they're doing a correction now because of the massive increase in the CPI, and a lot of us have not been able to do an increase that matched the CPI. So when they were 7 or 8% per annum, and we're putting in 4%, we're behind.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's annoying.
giving our kids less Christmas presents and less cheese on the table with the bread and butter.
Oh yeah, isn't cheese ridiculous? And egg, are you guys having an egg shortage as well?
Yeah, but it seems to be a little bit regional. But yeah, certainly noticing a lot of things like that being affected.
Well, it's definitely the Redlands region because we walk into the local supermarket like Coles,
Yeah,
Woolies. I think like fruit and veggie stores still have a pretty good supply,
yeah,
but yeah, Coles and Woolies have been tapped out. You go in there, there's
yep,
half a carton of broken eggs, and you got to pash some bloke out the back for half a dozen.
yeah. It's pretty rough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
it gets rough, but
good, good reason to hit the independent stores.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, support your local. No,
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird time in the world.
sure is.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully we're on the other side.
Yeah, look, I think there's got to be a couple of corrections, and I think across the country, there's going to be things like housing market corrections and wages corrections and CPI corrections. It's just what we've got to deal with.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll make living reasonable again.
Yeah, it's definitely shown like we we've kind of had to pull up on anything we were thinking about doing to our house.
Yeah,
Like we did get our bathroom done at the end of last year. That's what we've been saving for the last 2 years because it's a big expenditure. But we got a quote for a bathroom exactly the same as what we ended up getting when we first moved in here. And the quote was around 30, I think it was like between 35 and 37. That just cost us 50. So in
that's
two
massive.
years, that's, yeah, it's crazy. So um,
Yeah,
everything. I mean, something like a third of all builders have gone under, and there was a big one down in Melbourne, I
mm,
think, just recently. Something like
yep.
$800 million they were owing to people, and they only closed their doors when they had 200,000 in the bank or something. It's
Yeah.
pretty
I,
nuts.
I was talking to a local builder here last year, towards the end of last year, and I said to him, "Hey, what's the cost of building doing?" Like everyone's screaming that it's they're copying the ugly end of the stick. I said, "But what does it cost you to build compared to what it did 12 months ago?" And he said, "Double. It's just
Yeah.
skyrocketed." It's like
Well, I can imagine
if you're
if
if
my
you're talking
services are going up, then yeah,
Yeah. So if you're talking a $30,000 bathroom and he's going, oh, we can do it for 45, 50, he's absorbing the cost.
yeah, yeah. So no, it's pretty wild at the moment. I really hope it does change. Um,
Yeah.
you know, the housing market up here is pretty crazy. I don't know what it's like down there, but it's still booming here. We've got the Olympics coming, so I don't know if that's what's driving people to Brisbane, but
Maybe.
yeah, I mean, it's good for me,
I watch
but
the
it's not.
housing market pretty closely. And in my area, there's a new subdivision, which the prices keep going up. But if you move around a little bit within my community, you can see the lower end houses have been dropping in value. So in my area, the newer houses are fetching sort of 800 through to 1.2 mil. The fringe where they're lower end houses, they were sitting about 650 to 700, and now you're starting to see some that are under 600 again, even a couple of them under 500.
Jeez. Well, to put it into perspective, we bought this house like maybe 2.5 years ago. Oh, it might even be close to three.
Yeah,
But in the past 2 years, it's doubled. So
yeah,
it's mental. The house behind us was it's on a bigger block, but it's sold for like 1.2, and
yeah.
it's
Wow.
like I'm like 45 to 50 minutes away from the city. It's not like we're on the doorstep of Brizzy.
Yeah,
So we do live in a beautiful spot though. Like we're close to the bay, and amenities are
yes,
close. They just built a new shopping centre at the end of my street. Not like we live on
yeah,
quite a big street, so it's like a 5 minute drive, but it's just a
yeah,
Coles and fucking
yep,
Baker's Delight. Oh, they get me.
yeah. What I'm
Baker's
finding, it's
Delight.
the regional areas where you see the drop in housing. So those places like you're talking about, like where you've got access to Baker's Delight and you've got the new shopping centre right there, the house prices are pretty strong.
Yeah. No, it's. I feel bad. Like Lou's sister's been chasing an apartment for a while now, and yeah, the
Yeah,
prices for apartments are it's like the same price as a house.
yeah, they are, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
crazy.
and again, like people from interstate and stuff are snatching them, and it just
Yep.
for something you can sell in Sydney or Melbourne, you could buy two up here.
It's all the Mexicans moving across the border.
Yes, stay back. I mean, in saying that, like I actually last year was the first time I've been to Sydney.
Yeah,
And I'd been to Melbourne previously, but I didn't get to see a lot of it. So I actually really love both the cities. I got to go and see Cronulla in Sydney, and obviously in Melbourne we got to stay in the city and saw a bit of like Dandenong and went up Fern Tree Gully. And yeah, no, we were lucky. We were really lucky when we had the Expo. Duncan lent us one of the Skag mobiles, and we got
Oh,
to
yeah,
go
nice.
for a little driving tour.
Yep,
So
awesome.
yeah, it's good. I'm getting to
That's
explore other regions. It's funny how different landscapes are up and down the coast.
Oh yeah, it's really spectacular when you go for a drive from one end of the country to the other. And I've done a couple of long distance driving holidays, and I love it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Especially like Lou's got a new car, so
Yeah,
driving that, just cruising along. We go up to Harvey Bay or Burham Heads, and we've got a
yep,
few dance comps this year. So I was hoping
nice.
to go back to Gladstone because it's actually really nice up there. Best fish and
Yeah,
chips I've ever had in Gladstone.
yep,
And we were going to keep going and try and you know stay somewhere for a bit. But yeah, I'm
yeah,
determined. I want to get to WA because I've been there before.
yeah,
I've driven most of the coastline, but it was when I was about 12, so I
yeah.
don't remember.
Well, I've done a couple of trips to WA in the last few years. So did one at the
Nice.
end of last year for my cousin's wedding, and yeah, it's good to get back over there. It's still, Hugh managed to elude me on both trips. So
Yeah, he's a
to
ninja.
yeah,
He's a
have to
trained professional. I
have to sneak up behind him next time. Catch him
don't
unawares.
think you could. I don't think you could. I think he's got everything sussed. Um, but no, it would be good to go and see the WA crew. I don't know if we could have a show in WA. I'd have to run a poll or something to find out how many people would actually be attending it because, like, it is a
Yeah,
very niche market. I do understand that, but I'm
you
sure
just do a mini show over there. I'm sure that Greenworks would go over for a mini show.
I was actually thinking about having a just a meet and greet here in Brisbane for those who
Yeah,
probably can't make it down to Melbourne.
yep,
Um, yeah, just because I got the 40 acres, you're sitting there doing nothing, so may as
yeah,
well throw on a sausage sizzle on the Lawn and Land
yep,
Equip Expo.
yeah.
So if anyone's keen,
Low
yeah,
key
just
sausage.
low key. Like obviously, there's still going to be the brands will come. Like they always love an opportunity to get in front of people. Like that's one thing that I really want to reiterate is how much the brands actually appreciate just getting to come straight to a consumer instead of say at Farm Fest or something like that. You know, there's a ton of people come through, but it's like 1 out of 6 are like, "Oh, check that out! It's Skag," or "Oh, look at that
Yeah.
Toro," or
Look,
it's a different situation, and they really enjoy the conversations.
most brands will have a regional rep that will be like, okay, if you're having a get together of more than 20 or 30 people, it's probably worth sending a regional rep out there just to say hello, bring a
Yeah,
few tools, and play.
yeah, yeah. No, it would be good, and especially like the 40, you can jump on machines and have a putt around. And I mean, as soon as I could almost guarantee you, as soon as I announce a date, it'll just start raining until then.
I think
Everyone will get bogged at the door again.
that's a given with Queensland, though. If you announce a date, it'll rain.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you missed out because we had rain the night before, and then we just had a beautiful day the next day, and there was
Yeah,
just so much rain the night before that the continuous driving over the same spot just caused ruts, and then those ruts turned into holes, and then those holes turned into people getting stuck. So the 40 acres had a few different stripes running through it for a bit. We
I've lost you,
fixed
BJ.
those up,
You're still
but
there?
yeah, we got a full.
Hello.
There's a landscaping mob across the road, and we got a full truck
We've
of
got a
forestry
break in
mulch,
transmission.
and they literally dumped it. And they said they could spread
It's a
it, and
good
then they
time to wrap
literally
up
just dumped
anyway.
it at the gate, and then told us, "Oh, we can't spread that." So
Yep,
yeah,
there we go.
I got shafted a little bit on that one. Gary, Gary, are you there? Gary, can you hear me? Where have you gone? Why am I offline?
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.